Okay guys, in this video I'll be showing you how to set up your workspace on Visual Studio Code and how you can start working on it after setting up your workspace. So now that is for those that have installed their Visual Studio Code. If you have not installed it, I will suggest you go and do that right now before watching this video. Alright, so let's begin. Now first thing, anytime you want to start writing codes, I suggest you always create a folder. Okay, a folder is just a place where all your files or documents will be stored, all your programming files. Okay, so because if you are to if you don't create a folder and just decide to start writing codes, the codes or the files would just be scattered. It's not going to be arranged. You might decide to write code and maybe you just say, okay, let me just use desktop as my own storage folder. Locating the files would be very difficult. Okay, so that is the essence of you creating folders when writing codes. Folders is the essential. You have to just have a special place where you put all your codes, just to make it more accessible, easily accessible, so that you won't just be looking for it everywhere in your system. So how do we create a folder? The first thing, if you want to create a folder, you open your file manager, isn't it? You open your file manager. So open your file manager, you can see at my left hand side you see different icons here. You see the desktop, the downloads, the documents, the pictures, the music and the videos. Depends on where you want to create a folder. Okay, you can create a folder on your desktop, you can create a folder in your downloads, your download storage, your documents, anyone. But as for me, I'll be creating mine in my documents. I think documents is basically where most developers use as their storage files, where they simply keep all their programming files in. You can see most of my works that I've done here before. So I basically use I mostly use documents as my storage file. So after clicking on the documents, you now then right click. You right click on this place anywhere, just right click. So right clicking, you will sorry. Okay, let me kind of like go down here. So you right click. So after right clicking, you see there's a pop up here. You click on this new and then you scroll up to folder. All right. So click on folder and then this will appear here. So this appearing here, you can see we are being told to name our folder. You can give it whatever name you feel like, depending on the kind of project you are working on. Okay, if you are working on an e-commerce, you can just any project you are working on, you name it with that name. So when you are kind of like looking for it, you just okay, I named it with that. You just try to get your this thing, your folder. So now clicking on it, let me say for instance now I'm a beginner. Okay, so what should I do? Let me just name it my first code. Okay, that will be my folder name, my first code. You can see I'm using small caps. You can decide to use caps letter, any naming convention, like the way you feel is more suitable to you. You use all caps or true, but me I feel like using small caps, just in a small caps lock. Okay, so now after writing this my first code and then I press enter, you can see my folder has been created already. So now it is in this folder. When you double click on this folder, you can see there's no files inside it, isn't it? Okay, so it is in this folder. That is where you put all your programming files. If you're working with Python, you can put your Python files here. If it will be Java files, everything, any kind of files, any kind of programming language you're working on. If it's HTML, CSS, you can put them there. Later on we'll talk about how to kind of like linking files. There will be a stage whereby you'll be working with large numbers of pages, okay, large numbers of files, whereby you want to link one with one. They may be scattered in different folders, whereby those kind of relative linking, absolute, those things. Don't worry, I'll teach you guys those things now later on class. That's why I always suggest like you guys to always kind of like always join the class so I can, not to miss anything out of it. So now I've created my folder, and after creating your folder, where is my folder stored? Is stored in the documents section. Okay, don't forget where your folder has been stored. Don't forget. Okay, so that's a good thing to take note. And so heading on, and then I'll move to my Visual Studio Code. I'll open my IDE, my Integrated Development Environment. Okay, mine is pinned to the taskbar here, but as for you guys, those that don't really know where their Visual Studio Code is, I would just suggest you go to your search bar, click on your search bar, and you type Visual Studio Code. And as you can see here, it has brought it out for us already. This is it. This is our Visual Studio Code. So you click on your Visual Studio Code, tap on it, and then it's taking time to open. Just have to be patient a little bit. So it's gonna pop up for us. So the Windows has opened already, the Visual Studio Code Windows. Okay, as you can see, mine is opening. Most of my works are here. Let me just cancel it out. The project I'm working on, let me just cancel it out. Or you can just simply sorry, don't just cancel that. Because there's some cases, Visual Studio Code tends to like open your previous works on the runtime. When you just open it, it just shows it out. So if you don't want to open another new folder entirely, that means the workspace I created, the one I created in my documents folder, if you want to open it, you go to your files. Okay, it's in this file section you open the new folder. If you don't want to work on this is just my recent, so that's why I'm bringing it out. So if you want to work on the folder, you just want to open the folder you just created, you go to your files. Okay, clicking on file, you scroll down and you see what you call open folder. Okay, you open your folder, and then you go to where you kind of created your folder. So as you can see here, it's in documents. I created mine in the documents, as you can remember, documents. Okay, and then scrolling down, you see what's the name of my first folder, my first what do I call it again? It's my first code, I guess so. So you search for where my first code is, yeah, there's it here. So click on it and then you select folder. And so that is it. As you can see, this is your new background, this is your new folder, and this is your workspace. Now in this folder, you can now decide to create a file. You can see this icon here. This icon is called new file. If you want to create a folder, there's a folder here. If you want to refresh, you can refresh your Explorer or any of that. So if I want to create a new folder, a new file, I'll click on this icon here. And so if I were to be working with HTML files, okay, I can give it any name. Let me say okay, code dot, don't forget to always put the extension HTML. Okay, HTML is the extension. If you're to be working with a JavaScript, you put code.js. You can give it any name. That's a JavaScript file. If you're to be working with Python, it's py for Python. If you're to be working with Java, it's JAVA for Java. Okay, so those are the extensions. So I'm working with HTML right now because I'm teaching you guys HTML. So you name it to .html, and then you click enter. So bravo, you can see this is the file being created. You can see how beautiful Visual Studio Code is. It tends to make your work easier and faster. You don't have to just stress yourself and all of that, unlike other IDs like Notepad. You still have to do some manual changes, but this just brings that as it has these tabs, just arrange it for you visually for you, appealing. So that is it, and that is how to create a workspace in your Visual Studio Code. And then if you want to do some little, let me just do some little coding, just exclamation mark. There's a shortcut, but let me just give you this sharp trick. There's a shortcut. If you don't want to write maybe your doc type, maybe start typing doc type and then I write HTML this or this long line of this thing, and then you know write here your title. You know, this is kind of like, it's too long. Okay, so Visual Studio Code has this shortcut. The shortcut is what you click, you open, you type exclamation mark, this exclamation mark, and then you just press enter. So it automatically writes everything down for you. It writes it down for you. No need for you to stress yourself by writing this, and then you now go down to write this. You now go down to write this. It's kind of like just wasting time. The person that is actually competing with you, you just like you just like really rushing, like you like, what is this guy doing? See, this guy na robot, it is up like this, bro. Those kind of stuff. So just there are many other shortcuts, so I just want to just show you guys this one, just dash you guys this one to flex with it. So that is it about that. And so I think that's all. Yes, that's all. So thank you, and then don't forget to set up your workspace and start coding. Yeah.